Put up Phyllis leads on a paper that shows older workers in STAR are more likely to tend to stay with the firm. So let me start by telling you about Sherwin. So Sherwin's a white man in his 50s. He's one of many IT software engineers that we interviewed at this company that we call Tomo. And his manager is a self-described super workaholic. So we interview Sherwin, we interview his manager, we interview the director above them. And the manager describes his own boss as pushing teams so hard, he's trying to get blood from a rock, right? Sherwin actually enjoys his work very much. He's got this hybrid role where he's both like a software architect who's thinking big picture, but he's an expert developer, so he's in the weeds as well. He loves his work and talks about working with tremendously talented people. These guys are so smart, but it's not sustainable. He's working 70-hour weeks, and he says he's never able to get all of the work done. And that has taken a tremendous toll on him health-wise. He knows, he sees how he can't do the things he knows he should because of this work context. Now, it also matters that he's got a heavy family caregiving load, but we're arguing that's not the critical part of it. So this is an admittedly gripping, I hope, opening, and a little bit of an extreme case because the health crisis is obvious, but it's fairly typical of the work patterns and the experiences of the people we're studying. Again, we're studying the IT division of a Fortune 500 firm. I want to be clear, it's not a sexy tech firm. It's not tech elite. It's not Silicon Valley. It's kind of middle America. And we're covering all of the jobs in the software development process. These are obviously highly educated and very privileged workers who make good money. This is known as a good employer with good benefits. Okay, so we're arguing that this experience we're calling overload involves long hours, but it's not just the hours. It's also the fact that the hours are stretched, that people are trying to fit in all of these tasks and so end up multitasking during that. So we saw people wearing 2 headphones. Many meetings are conference calls because the teams are geographically distributed. And so people would be scheduled on 2 calls and trying to listen to both. We heard all of these stories about how you have to give people lots of time. You have to say, Heather, the next thing on the agenda is that we're going to turn to this problem, and Heather, and you have to say Heather's name 3 times so that you cue Heather to start paying attention again, stop the IMing and emailing that she's doing, and re-engage in the meeting, right? And this is what we saw the first week of field work. This is the way it is. And so obviously people feel scattered. So the organization asked us to come in because there was a sense among some executives and among HR in this organization that this was not working, that they were burning people out, that they were losing good employees, and that they were not establishing themselves as an innovative place where young people would want to come work. So here I want to pause and say, this is a word cloud from 25 teams doing an exercise where they were given the broad question, how do you feel today? And you could just go up and write on the whiteboard anything you wanted. They did 2 passes around the room for each team, and we've just represented both a positive in green and negative comments with repeated comments larger. So the point I want to make here is that work-life conflicts are part of this, and concerns about family and how family fits in with the rest of work, how family work fits in with the rest of work. That's part of what's going on, but that's not the primary story, right? And so this was interesting. Our research network work was called Work, Family, and Health Conflict. We were funded by, Work, Family, and Health Network. We were funded by NIH and CDC to examine how work-family conflicts affect health and well-being and what changes employers might make that would have a public health impact. Phyllis and I have been studying gender, work, and family, that's my core identity, for like 20 years now. And yet, we came to see that work is the issue. It's overload, it's not role conflict. It's the experience of intensified work rather than how work fits with non-work responsibilities. And so this has some implications. One of those implications is that it broadens the audience. It raises some questions about to what extent are work-family conversations a diversion. It also has the implication of kind of asking us to think about what within the organization or the work practices needs to change. So I'm going to switch to that topic now and talk about